Guys, this is incredible. It's like a maze of restaurants, shops, old city, left, right, straight. Like, I don't even know where to go right now. I think I'm gonna get lost. I will let my dragons out. Jacares. Hey guys, this is where they were throwing the bastards out of. Here comes the bride. Life without ice cream, not good. Banana split, always good. As promised, I made it to the city of Dubrovnik in Croatia. The drive from Split to Dubrovnik is only 3 hours, but I made so many stops along the way and it took me a whole day. Time for a break. So my break, I got me a little cake and some coffee. So I got me a cake, taking a little break. This is called Chupovac, which I would translate hairy cake. It's practically a moist yellow cake that's covered in chocolate milk or milky chocolate, and then it's covered with coconut flakes. So let's dig in. I'm gonna stop and these little stands that I see with fruits and vegetables and honey. I'm gonna go check it out and see what they're selling. I love this. I got freshly squeezed pomegranate juice, and I got a little dessert that has almonds and dried figs and a little raki in it. She said it really doesn't take that much. It doesn't taste that much as liquor, but let's try it. Little correction on the juice. I was told it was pomegranate, but actually it's not. It is a rose hip, freshly squeezed rose hip juice. It's still good. Yummy. Dubrovnik is the most scenic city on the Dalmatian coast. It is named the Pearl of the Adriatic. Historians estimated that the city was founded in the early 7th century. I tried so hard to avoid linking the TV series Game of Thrones to the old city of Dubrovnik, but I couldn't keep those two apart. I don't think it's fair that Game of Thrones is overshadowing the historical value and the beauty of Dubrovnik, but Game of Thrones is now inescapable in Dubrovnik. You will be constantly reminded of the TV series wherever you look. There are dozens of shops that sell Game of Thrones souvenirs, and if that is not enough, you will keep hearing tourist guides talk about Game of Thrones to their groups. So tourists flock to the city in millions every year to see some of the most memorable locations. In fact, Dubrovnik was overwhelmed by tourists and forced the city to limit the number of visitors in 2017. So yes, I am going to do my best to talk about the historical background of the city, and I will also highlight some of the filming locations in Game of Thrones. Now let's rewind a little. As I mentioned during my visit to Split, I rarely book my hotel rooms in the city center. So this time again, I found an apartment for rent 15 minutes away from Dubrovnik in the town of Kupari. It's affordable, clean and quiet. It is less than a mile away from a grocery store, a shopping mall, taxi boats and buses. On top of all that, the host was super helpful and gave me some valuable information. I just arrived at my apartment near Dubrovnik. Come on in. So I rented this apartment for 2 nights, and it comes with a kitchen or a kitchenette pretty much, which has all the dishes you need. It has a refrigerator in here, even a freezer. We do have a little balcony over here. This tree is not a lemon tree, it's an orange tree. And you can see that actually there is down here a little bitty orange, and actually these are going to be ripe in December. Follow me into the bedroom. This is my bedroom. Right here in the corner, we do have a small TV. Pretty cool. I've noticed here that the apartments or the rooms that you rent, they're not that big. They're just pretty small, just for, you know, 2 people. Now you do have bigger apartments to rent for families, which, you know, for kids especially, have bunk beds and all that. Also, small bathrooms. I've noticed a lot of bathrooms are very, very small. So I'll let you go and take a look at it. One thing to learn, that here in Europe, this switch right here will turn on that, and that's how you get your hot water. If you don't turn this on, you'll be showering with cold, cold water. I left my apartment. I'm gonna take the water taxi and go to Dubrovnik and just check it out for a little bit. I have about 20 minutes to catch it, so let's go and have some fun. Alright, I made it to Kupari, where the boat is gonna pick me up and take me to Dubrovnik. The city walls are the source of pride for Dubrovnik. The walls were built around the 16th century and run a course of about 2 kilometers in length, encircling most of the old city, and reach a maximum height of about 80 feet. You can walk the entire perimeter, stop at any point to take some photos, or simply enjoy the beauty that surrounds you. Just make sure you plan for 90 minutes to 2 hours, depending on how many stops you make along the way. I arrived to Dubrovnik a little late, so I know I only had about 3 hours of daylight to see as much as I can on the first day. So I decided to grab a bite to eat, explore parts of the old city, and continue my visit the following day. Made it! I have made it to the old city in Dubrovnik. Right now I'm gonna have a bite because I'm a little bit hungry. And a couple things that my host told me before I took off. To be careful when I do take the water taxi, to make sure that I ask that, you know, if it's correct one. There's multiple other ones going to other islands, to get the right one. And also not to drive here because the streets are very narrow and small, and kind of one way. So if somebody else comes from another direction, one of us would have to back up, and the streets are very small. So definitely some great tips that she gave me. Also, parking is very, very expensive here too. So it is cheaper to get a water taxi. There's also bus transportation as well as Uber. So I'm gonna have a bite and explore the city. It is big, so I'm probably gonna have to come back tomorrow and do some more walking and talking. To get a better view of the old city, I have decided to take the cable car, which is about 200 kunas for one person. You can buy your tickets either at the door, or you can buy them down here at a couple stores, which are about like a 5-minute walk, but it does cost about 210 kunas then. The reason why they do that is because if you buy your ticket all the way down there, you go into the other line and you get in quicker. Now that you have to buy a ticket like me, I have to stand in line and wait my turn. So when you do come up here to the hill, right, so they do have 2 separate restaurants. One is outside and one is inside, and they also offer some buggy adventures as well. The following day, I started my visit with the Museum of Dubrovnik. It is located in the Rector's Palace and contains a large collection of antique furniture and uniforms. Visitors are allowed to take pictures in the museum, but videos are not allowed. This was also featured in Game of Thrones. This is where Daenerys asks for help and ships. I gotta watch my head. Ooh. This is scary. A prison cell. Wow. one. Let's get out. After Rector's Palace, I basically followed the crowds to another one of the most photographed locations. These are the Jesuit Stairs. This location would probably not be of any significance to most visitors, but it got its popularity from Game of Thrones when Cersei Lannister was forced to walk down naked on these stairs. I am at the top of the stairs where Cersei had or did the walk of shame.
A sinner comes before you. Cersei of House Lannister.
Shame. Shame.
Within the city walls, you can find several towers and fortresses, as well as numerous historical monuments. Lovrennian's Fortress and the Mincetas Tower are two of the most imposing structures and will demand your attention. There is a fee to access both locations, but if you pay for one, you don't have to pay for the other. Just make sure you keep the tickets from whichever one you access first. I paid 250 kuna, which is about $33 US. As soon as you pay your ticket, get ready for a steep climb. Enjoy the workout. Hey guys, real quick, couple tips. Before you walk up here, make sure you eat light, you have your sunscreen, and have plenty of water. You'll need it. This is the Mincetas Tower.
No.
It was built in the early 1460s at the height of the Turkish threat. The Mincetas Tower is one of the most appealing and most visited Dubrovnik's towers. It is also the highest point and it offers a great vantage point for some stunning photos. Hey guys, I am all the way on the top. There's this little small window and you can see the whole old city. Come take a look. I forgot, there's a second window for the other side. Take a look. Fans of Game of Thrones may recognize the Mincetas Tower as being the House of Undying where Daenerys searched for her stolen dragons. From this point on, you can start a 2-kilometer walk. It is absolutely a must-do to get the full feel of the old city. After completing my walk, I came down to the West Harbor. The West Harbor is just outside the city walls and a short walk from the Pile Gate. So in Game of Thrones, this is where they were throwing out the Baratheon bastards out. This is one of my favorite areas, especially after a full day of walking. You can grab a drink or take a short break here before going up to the steps to visit Lovrennian's Fortress. I decided to sit down and enjoy a drink due to the fact that Lovrennian's Fortress was closed for a wedding ceremony. This part of the West Harbor and the West Pier were also the site of many scenes from Game of Thrones. Some of the scenes include the departure of Myrcella to Dorne and also when Shae observed Sansa talking to Littlefinger. Okay, I am right now at the Lovrennian's Fort, which is the Red Keep, where majority of the scenes were shot inside right here. However, I can't get in right now because there is a wedding in there. You can actually rent this place for 4,000 euros to have your wedding in. We just heard that the wedding should be done in about an hour, hour and a half. We might go back, we'll see. Lovrennian's Fortress is an amazing fortification built on cliffs 37 meters above the sea. It provides an amazing site for some outstanding photos of the old town. Lovrennian's is also heavily featured in Game of Thrones and referred to as the Red Keep. Perhaps one of the most memorable ones are Joffrey's name day scene, where he abuses his new fool, and the clever exchange between Cersei and Littlefinger. This is where Cersei told Littlefinger, "Power is power."
Lord Baelish.
Your Grace.
Knowledge is power.
Seize him. Power is power.
This is the end of my trip to Dubrovnik. I had amazing 2 days here. I walked a lot. I ate a lot of good food. So one thing I want to tell you guys is if you have any questions about this video, please let me know. I'll be more than glad to answer anything. Again, make sure you have your sunscreen, comfortable shoes, cash, and eat some good food before you do all this walking. It's worth it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.